My name is Ram Iyer. I'm a founder and CEO of Vayana Networks. I've now been an entrepreneur for 27 years. This is my third startup in the fintech space. Focus in Vayana Network really is to kind of create a platform where entire supply chains, which is really nothing but a set of buyers and sellers for a specific sector, basically can get financed for the trade that they do amongst themselves. And the idea behind this is really to make sure that the smallest business in this supply chain can get financed on terms that are far better than what they would have got by themselves. So the overall idea really is to also kind of cater to really small businesses who by themselves may have not got access to finance, but now can get access to finance because they belong to a supply chain that people are interested in. So I think the total extent of the problem that we are trying to solve has so many elements to it that it is not possible for one firm to do it. I think that's one fact of the matter. So, if you want to talk to large corporates, large banks, small NBFCs, small businesses, really small businesses, they all require different kinds of solutions, different kinds of teams working at them. It is not possible to kind of get access to that. Two is that we need access to a lot of data before we can decide credit is possible or not. And there are a lot of startups who are already very embedded into some of the supply chains, actually doing a lot of accounts receivables, accounts payable, or some other kind of work which gives them access to data. Then it makes a lot of sense for us to partner with them so that we can provide the funding based on the data that they have. And if they are really important, then you would like to want to take an investment in them just so that you can kind of be part of their journey. So I think strategic is a very natural course, I think, for anybody who is trying to be a platform, or who is trying to be an aggregator, or who is someone who is trying to kind of build a generic purpose solution. They will need a lot of specific solutions that you would better off, rather than building it yourself, go and invest in other companies that are doing it. So we have not set up a fund, though we have an agreement with our investors that this much block of money we will keep aside for strategic investments. Way we do strategic investments slightly different. We prefer a lot of interaction and a lot of work, actual work, with a possible partner or a startup before we will actually invest. So there's a lot of work that we do, making sure that it's not just that we hear a deck and we say, oh yeah, we want to invest. There is a lot of time we take to kind of actually work with them. And I think what we always try to do is to figure out whether that person is really interested in kind of taking it the entire distance, or really persevere or not stop at some point in time, right? And that decides the range of investment we will do. So if someone is really interested, we see a lot of hunger to kind of build it very large, then we are only talking about a small investment in them. Whereas there are a lot of firms, a lot of entrepreneurs who are really looking at a 2-year, 3-year, quick in and out. But so those are the ones that we might look at buying out sometimes. So I think you have to be very careful about allowing strategic investment into your company. So let me reverse the order. If I were a founder and someone was interested in strategically investing in me, I need to be careful. Two reasons for it. First and foremost, you should find investors who are all aligned with what you are trying to do. A strategic investor, by definition, is coming at it for his own interest, his or own interest, right? So you need to make sure that interest matches yours. Because otherwise, you're going to get tugged along in different directions. The moment you have on cap table someone who is not thinking same like you, you're setting yourself a possible conflict. Second is a lot of strategic investment by other investors, normal financial investors. They sometimes are wary about strategic investors because they don't know whether the company will have the independence to do something in that specific space if it has got a strategic investment in it. So let's say I'm a payments firm and I get a strategic investment from another payments company, which is currently not in my space, but which wants to kind of do it. If I am a financial investor coming into the company, I'll say, boss, wait, are you saying that you can't get into that guy's space, or vice versa? And I think that's where you set a lot of conflict. So if you are a founder who just started off, or who is, let's say below Series C, you have to be very careful about why you are taking strategic investment. A lot of people take angel investment from people in the same space. Again, be careful. I would just say, be very clear about what that relationship is going to be, making sure that nobody will kind of put stop to your own ambitions. So I think if you're a founder, be very careful of strategic investments, especially when you're young or just new to the game. Primarily because you don't know the agenda. Look, I mean, if you are in a group of VCs, all VCs are interested in exit, like you said. A strategic investor may not be interested in exit. He may be interested in the customers, he may be interested in the product, he may be interested in the team. And so he will kind of be an obstacle in any exit because he thinks this is more valuable to me if I continue to run it as a separate company, or I'm invested into it. The only thing that spooks financial investors is any obstacle that they can perceive or is real on their exit. The first thing an investor will want to know is that there should be no kind of obstacle whenever he wants to sell out. And the moment you have strategic investors, VCs will kind of want to worry about whether this will be an entrance. So it's very natural that they look at it with suspicion. So two reasons why you would want to do strategic investment. One is that if you're operating in a very niche space and you know that you can't grow without being yoked to somebody else larger, right? Then it makes a lot of sense for you to do a strategic investment, because the only way for you to grow is to be part of something larger. So if you're like that bird that sits on top of a water buffalo or a rhinoceros, right? It's very clear why it is there, because it knows that's how it will get food, right? Then it makes a lot of sense for you to do it. Or if you are sure that this is the exit route in 2-3 years that you are looking at, right? The strategic investor will actually end up buying your company out. So you'll see a lot of deals that large corporates are making today. You will find that they invest 50%, 60%, 80%. They don't invest 100%. Because then the founder has some skin in the game for the next 2-3 years to build it up and then get a better exit. So those are all the reasons why you would want a strategic investment. If you're looking at pure money and saying that, look, I'll get some credibility if I'm associated with a strategic investor, then I think you are going to be very careful. You have to be a little careful, because money you will get from financial investors. You don't want, this word Harry Potter novels made, right? Dementors, people who suck happiness out of you. A lot of strategic investment can be like dementors. A lot of professional VCs look at them with great suspicion. You are unnecessarily spoiling your future rounds of valuation. So you need to be careful. They come in two varieties. So there are 4 varieties of strategic investment in general. One is from an eventual purpose of acquisition. Then you generally take up a more than 50% stake, because you really want to control that company, and at some point in time decide it's like a put option. I will take the remaining 49% or 26%. So that's how you start. The second one is that he wants to not made up his mind. He thinks this could be a big one. He still wants to be in a position of control, but he doesn't want to kind of say that I am 51%, because he doesn't want to roll it up to his balance sheet. So he will then take up a 25, 26, 24% kind of a guy. The third guys are the confused guys, the guys who come between 10 to 24%, right? Because that's neither a stake here nor there. But they are essentially guys who are saying this too early in the game, very interesting, we can't do it ourselves. Let's put some money and see what happens. There's another reason for investments between 10 to 26 also, is to prevent other competitors of yours, the strategic investors competitors, from investing into that company. Because you can then say, I can put a stop to that, right? You are thinking, oh, I can't do anything with this guy, but let me make sure somebody else also can't do something with this for them. The ones who are below 10% is essentially because you think it's an interesting space, there is some peripheral, collaboration that's possible. You really are interested in that founder, and you think, something can be done. So you're just putting in money just to participate in the game. So I think that's really the way to look at it. Is there are very 4 different reasons for it. So look, first of all, the companies we invest in are all either at the seed or Series A round. They are not the Series B, Series C round. So we always are investing on the team. They may have come with a good idea, they may have come with a good product, but they're too small still to kind of really be material to us. But what really interests us is entrepreneurs, right? Saying that, oh, this person has a great idea, if I give him money and I can really help him with my connects or with what I have got, then he's going to really take it up forward. So from Vayana perspective, we only do in 2 buckets. I told you there are 4 buckets, right? We either take 100% or we are less than 10. There is no in between for us. We are not interested in anything. We are either less than 10 because we like the entrepreneur. We think, we can give him some help and there is some work we can do out of him, but we are not interested in kind of owning that asset. and 100% if you are interested in owning the assets. That's only two models we operate in. But essentially we look at team. I only look at the team. I'm not interested in any startup where the team does not interest me, or I don't think they will stay on for the next 3-4 years. That is very, very important to me. Product, market, revenue, customer, that's all okay. It'll come. So I think if you are less than 10%, then you essentially are being a mentor. You are either kind of helping them to raise money, you're helping them to connect to customers, you're giving them some new product ideas. More importantly, you're usually resolving fights between founders or other organizational matters, because you have been through the journey yourself. So you know what is to be done. So you're a little bit more empathetic, I think, than financial VCs who have not been operators, right? So if you have been an operator, you've actually run a company, you know these issues and you can guide them. So how to set up ESOP policies, how to reward and all, those are the kind of things you help the guys. I think if you want 100%, you still will be a mentor and you should stay hell out of the way of the entrepreneur who is running it. But you have to have a lot more control because you are essentially responsible for its governance. But I think with most investors, at least our role has been very simple, to stay out of their way. If you want to stay in their way, we may as well do it ourselves. There's no point having someone else doing that.